Men over 50, let me ask you something directly. Are you waking up with frequent trips to the bathroom during the night? Do you notice that you're feeling weaker down there than you used to? Or maybe you've been dragging through your mornings, sluggish and low on energy, even after what should have been a full night's sleep. I want you to hear this clearly. These changes are not simply a normal part of getting older. They are signs that your prostate may be under stress, and ignoring them only makes the problem worse. I'm Dr. Sophia Carter, a urologist who has spent decades treating men just like you, and I can tell you I've seen this pattern more times than I can count. But here's the hopeful part: many of these problems don't come from age itself. They come from a few simple habits, especially the things you do first thing in the morning. The truth is, those habits can be changed, and when you do, you give your prostate and your entire body a chance to work with you, not against you. The truth is, to really understand why your morning habits matter so much, you first need to understand what's happening inside your body after 50. Your prostate isn't just some small, unimportant gland. It's like a valve sitting right at the crossroads of your urinary and reproductive systems. And here's the key: that valve is extremely sensitive. It reacts to changes in blood flow, hormone shifts, and especially to inflammation. By the time you hit your 50s, 60s, or beyond, your body isn't quite as forgiving as it used to be. The circulatory system is a bit stiffer, hormone levels are shifting, and the prostate itself can swell or become irritated much more easily. That's why even small choices, what you drink first thing in the morning, whether you skip water, or how quickly you sit down after waking, can ripple out to affect how your prostate behaves the rest of the day. Think of it like this: your prostate is like a sponge. When it's relaxed, it's soft and pliable, blood can flow through easily, and everything works smoothly. But if you squeeze a sponge first thing in the morning and then leave it in that squeezed state, it stays tight, rigid, and irritated for hours. That's what happens when your morning routine stresses your prostate. It gets squeezed, and instead of bouncing back, it stays inflamed and cranky all day long. And that irritation is exactly what leads to the symptoms you might already be noticing: getting up multiple times at night, feeling incomplete after urination, or a constant dull pressure in the pelvic area. I know this can feel discouraging, especially if you've been told that's just normal aging. But here's the encouraging truth: much of it isn't inevitable. It often comes down to the small, overlooked habits that are quietly irritating your prostate day after day. And in just a moment, I'll show you the very first damaging morning habit that might be setting you up for problems without you even realizing it. Let's talk about the first damaging morning habit, because this one is extremely common. It's something almost every man over 50 does without thinking: drinking coffee on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to demonize coffee. I know many of you love that first cup, and I completely understand why. But here's the problem: when you pour coffee into your system before you've had any food or even water, you're setting off a chain reaction that irritates your prostate. Coffee on an empty stomach increases the acidity in your system and spikes your stress hormones like adrenaline. That sudden jolt doesn't just wake up your mind, it also jolts your bladder and the delicate lining around your prostate. Think of it this way: imagine taking an old, rusty pipe and blasting ice-cold water through it at full pressure. The sudden shock makes the weak spots crack faster. That's essentially what you're doing to your urinary system when coffee is the very first thing to hit your body in the morning. It's a shock that leaves your prostate tighter, more irritated, and more vulnerable throughout the day. Over time, that irritation builds into inflammation, and inflammation is the root of so many problems men experience: urgency, frequency, discomfort, even performance issues down there. But here's the good news: you don't need to give up coffee to protect your prostate. The solution is simple. If you love your morning cup, just make sure you're not drinking it on an empty stomach. Eat a light breakfast first, something as simple as a slice of whole grain toast or a handful of nuts. This buffers the acidity and calms the shock to your system. Or, if you want to be even gentler, switch out your first drink for warm water or green tea and save your coffee for later in the morning once you've eaten. Small adjustments like this can make a huge difference in how your prostate feels and functions throughout the day. Now, coffee isn't the only morning culprit. There's another habit that's just as common, and it has to do with something you're probably not doing enough of right after you wake up. The second damaging habit is one that sounds almost too simple to matter, but it has a powerful impact on your prostate health: not drinking water first thing in the morning. So many men over 50 roll out of bed, head straight for the coffee maker, and completely skip that crucial first glass of water. And I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but inside your body, it sets the stage for irritation and inflammation. When you wake up, your body is already mildly dehydrated. You've gone 7 or 8 hours without any fluids. Your urine is thicker, more concentrated, and that means it's harsher on the bladder and the prostate. Instead of gently rinsing through the system, it's like running dirty water through delicate filters. They get irritated, swollen, and overworked. And without enough hydration, circulation slows down. That sluggish blood flow means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reaching the prostate tissue, making it more prone to inflammation and discomfort. Here's a simple picture to make this clear. Imagine you're trying to wash your driveway, but instead of a steady hose of water, you only have a weak trickle. Dirt and residue stay stuck, building up over time. That's exactly what happens when you don't hydrate first thing. The residue in your urinary tract lingers, irritating the prostate all day long. Now, I know some of you may say, "But Dr. Carter, I drink water later in the day." And while that's better than nothing, it's not the same. Your prostate and bladder need that early flush in the morning, before caffeine, to set the tone for healthy circulation and smoother function throughout the day. The fix is simple and powerful. Start every morning with a full glass of water before you touch your coffee. It doesn't have to be complicated. Room temperature is fine, even slightly warm if you prefer. This one small step hydrates your system, flushes irritants, and gives your prostate the gentle start it needs. And once you're hydrated, there's another morning habit to pay attention to, one that has less to do with what you drink and everything to do with how you spend those first few minutes after waking up. The third damaging habit is one most men don't even realize is affecting them: sitting down right after waking up and staying there for long stretches. Maybe you pour your coffee, settle into your favorite chair, scroll through the news on your phone, or head straight to the desk to catch up on emails. It feels harmless, even productive. But for your prostate, it's one of the worst things you can do at the start of the day. Here's why. When you sit, especially on a soft couch or firm chair, you're putting direct pressure on your pelvic floor. And sitting first thing, before you've moved your body, means you're compressing blood flow in the very area where your prostate lies. That pressure doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it reduces circulation, limits oxygen delivery, and keeps inflammation trapped inside the tissue. Over time, this adds up to more swelling, more irritation, and more of the symptoms you might already be dealing with: the urgency, the weak flow, the nighttime interruptions. Think of it like parking a car on top of a garden hose. As long as the car is there, water can't flow freely. The same thing happens in your pelvis when you sit for hours first thing in the morning. The blood flow gets pinched off, and your prostate pays the price. Now, I know many of you may be thinking, "But I sit all day for work, what choice do I have?" And I understand. That's why I'm not asking you to stop sitting altogether. What I'm asking is this: give your prostate a break in the morning. Before you park yourself in that chair, take just 5 to 10 minutes to move your body. A short walk around the house, a few light stretches, or even climbing the stairs a couple of times is enough to get circulation flowing, reduce pressure on the pelvic floor, and give your prostate the space it needs to start the day without stress. These small choices, coffee with food, water first, and a few minutes of movement, set the tone for how your prostate feels all day long. And when you put them together, they can transform your mornings and your health. Now let's bring all of this together in a quick recap.